Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the shop. I'm Corey, and today I feel like I'm going to start working on the S13 again. I have a LSD diff from a J30 that I'm servicing right now and cleaning up. So we're going to take a look at that, and I'm going to stop having a one-wheel peel and start being able to lock both rear tires up. Doing some burnouts or drifting or whatever else I want to do, because I feel that I'm having a lack of fun. I used to have a welded diff in there a long time ago, and I changed it out because I wanted a better ride. And now that I got the LSD, I know it won't lock up 100% like the aftermarket ones, but with the viscous, it'll be better than nothing at all. And later, I'm probably going to go back to a welded diff. So let's get out here and check this out. Alright, so here is the LSD. Quite grimy and dirty. I'm going to drain the fluid. I'm going to clean all this up out here. I'm going to wipe it all down good, change the fluid out. As you see, it does spin, both going the same direction. Alright, so it's clean, looking all beautiful enough to get dirty again. Use the drain plug and drain the oil in it, and then we're going to put it in the car. We're going to fill it from this plug. The way you fill it is, put this cap back on and you fill in here until it starts running out, and then you put the cap back on. I have a tool to use to make it a whole lot easier than using an actual squeeze bottle, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But right now we're going to do this. I've already loosened it up a little bit since it was on the floor, because this thing's pretty tough. You normally put Teflon tape on it so it doesn't leak out, and torque it down good enough to where it doesn't back out on you very easy. So let's drain this. So these normally have a magnetic drain plug. If they don't, you can always purchase one. The fluid looks like it hasn't been changed in a while, or even used in a while. I did get this from a junkyard. It wasn't too expensive, so I'm happy for my purchase because it's working. I don't hear any noise whenever I was turning it over or anything else. I got all the hardware with it, even the axles, in case I need extra axles, but that's for another project, because this is going in the convertible and I've already got axles in it, so I don't have to deal with taking them out. And it's a direct replacement for the open diff in there. The only concern that I've read about is that this ABS diff from a J30 is just about an inch longer in the front than the stock open diff out of a S13 or S14 non-ABS. Normally what you do is you have a different size drive shaft. Well, I'm going to use the stock drive shaft that's non-ABS. I've heard of a lot of people running it without changing the diff, or excuse me, the drive shaft. So we're going to do that until we either end up having issues, or until I swap out what I want to swap out and do my plan for later. But as of right now, we're going to clean this one up a little bit more, get all this fluid out, maybe spray it out a little bit with some stuff to get the rest of the gunk out. I'm not going to break the seal on the cover right now, because everything pretty much looks pretty good. Like I said, the oil just looks like it's been sitting for a while. So we're going to get this oil out and get the other diff in here, and we're going to compare, and then we're going to put this one in. So let's get to it. Alright, so I learned something after looking at a subframe I have. I have an extra subframe for an S13. So this J30 rear diff cover is bolts, or too big and they don't line up with the bolt pattern on the subframe. So this cover's going to come off anyway, even though I didn't want to, but it's coming off, and this new one, or old one, or dirty looking one, is going on. This is a R32 Diff with an S13 cover on it. So this S13 cover is coming off here. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit prettier like the J30 that I did, and we're just going to flip-flop them so that this has a cover and that has a cover. And because this one can't be used in S13 because I don't have 5-bolt axles, so we're going to go with the 6-bolt axles and make that work. So let's get to swapping them. Alright, we're looking at gear ratios. That one says 49-12, which should be what I looked up as a 4.083. Yes, 4.083. Almost a 410. And then this one, as you see, is a 47-12, and that is, let me check one more time, a 392. So, I'm not sure what the stock diff is. We won't find that out. Not today, because once I open that diff, or I'm not going to open that diff today. I already got my cover. All I'm going to do is pull it out, and we're going to drain the oil in it so it's not so heavy. And other than that, we're going to deal with that way. Alright, we're going to look at these cases. You can look at how ugly this thing is. Alright, this is the J30. This thing is nasty. Nasty, nasty. This thing is on the R32 diff. I just need to clean the RTV off, but it has been cleaned up all on the inside of it, if you can see, as I have y'all turned the wrong way. So we're going to ditch this diff cover and get this one, as well as this one has better cooling because it's got fins. This one is a smooth cover, so cooling is not a problem, but it just doesn't have as good of cooling. So, I'm going to swap this. Alright, so we cleaned the entire surface off. We gotta clean down here one more time because it keeps getting oil in it. Let's set this down. There we go. Alright, no more oil. We spray it off with brake parts cleaner to make sure there's no solvents or anything else on it, so that when you put your silicone on, it sticks really well. You don't have to be excessive with your silicone, but just enough to where when the cover's put on and it's tightened down, it puts a seal around it so you're not leaking diff oil. So this is now sealed, so we're going to wait a little bit, let it dry, let it tack up good. I got to pull this plug out right here, and I got to put this plug all the way back in. I also have to go get the S13 and bring it around to the shop, lift up the rear, start looking at how I'm going to get that diff out. Shouldn't be too difficult because the fact of it's just not. The sway bar gets in the way a little bit. The exhaust shouldn't be a factor because I don't have to pull off the actual axle. So it should work out pretty well. Alright, excuse the dirty workplace, but here are the tools you should be using to remove your differential from your S13 or S14. Alright, starting from right to left, This is always good, a magnet bolt holder or tool holder, however you want to say that. It's a little bowl, half-inch ratchet, an extension just in case, a 17 millimeter socket. Go jump over here. 3/4 or 3/8 inch ratchet extension, a short 12, a long 12, 14 millimeter, short 17 millimeter. Wrenches, you want a pair of 12 millimeter, a single 14 millimeter, and a 17 millimeter. A pry bar helps, and then having an impact sometimes helps getting those axle bolts out, and then a lube pump. So that's what you should be using. It shouldn't be that difficult. The method to getting it out isn't too bad. I'll show you how to do that. Getting it in, you kind of fight a little bit more because you're pushing up with a lot of weight, and it's not as easy. So let's get to it. All right, switching to the smaller tripod. This makes it a little bit easier to get up under the car. So first thing, you're gonna jack the car up on even ground. You're gonna put jack stands under it. It's not optimum to put it on grass, but you know what? My shop's kind of full, so we're gonna get up under here. I've already taken some bolts off. Let me give you some light. I've already taken some bolts off down here. As you see right here, that's the passenger side axle. And then I'm gonna tackle the driver's side axle over here. As you see up here, those are the 4 bolts that bolt the diff into the rear subframe. And then, if you can see right here where the light's touching that bolt right there, that's the drive shaft. So I gotta take those 4 out too. And then you got this bolt and one more on the other side, and the whole thing drops out. It will end up hitting the sway bar right here, but we can maneuver it by pushing it forward as far as we can, dropping the back out and pulling it out. So the only other issue you're gonna have is the stubs right here have like a little cone shape that tucks into the diff. So you're gonna have to pull these out as much as you can and push them out of the way. It's more than likely they're just gonna go forward, but still the prying of that is not fun. Alright, so we got both diffs out. Well, sorry, both diffs next to each other. We got the diff out of my car. The S13 diff right here that looks all mangled and nasty. So you got that. That's the same vented housing. Same 6-bolt axle shafts. But here's the kicker. As you see from above, this is the J30 rear end. That's the S13. The J30 is about 1 inch longer than the S13. It's got the sensor up here. It's got bushings. S13 has solid mount, but once you get all this in your kits of getting it from the junkyard or buying it from somebody separate, you get all this stuff with it, or should. If you don't, then you're kind of up the creek, because you need these bushings to bolt in to where the stock diff bolted. On top of, you need longer bolts. The bolts. Here's the J30 bolt. Hold on, let me find. I just had one in my hand. Alright, so here is an S13 bolt. We'll compare them height-wise. Oop. You see the difference. That's a big difference. You could possibly use these, but the problem you're going to have is you're not going to have much room for threads into the subframe. So you want to get these. So other than that, like I said before, when you turn this on the J30 rear end, both the axles are moving in the same direction. Alright, on the S13 open diff, see, one turns more than the other, but then when you turn them from the axles, one's turning one way and one's turning the other. Again, viscous LSD, open diff. Alright, so now I'm going to try and get this thing in there without any issues. We'll see how this works. It's not fun. Alright, when we're talking about putting gear oil in, you can get a gear lube pump, which makes this a heck of a lot easier. This one's my one for my boat, but it works the same. Let's see. This dips down with the straw into your gear lube oil mechanism. This normally ties into the boat motor, the stern, back there with this little screw cap. But you don't have to use that as that. You can put that in there and then fill it up right here until it pours out. So makes it a lot easier than trying to fill up a diff and then putting it in the car, or trying to fill a diff while it's in the car. So one of these is a lifesaver. Well, I'm not going to show the reinstall, but as you see, it's up under there, so there's no point. You just watched me remove one diff, so I'm not going to reinstall a diff for you to watch me do that. So let me reinstall this. We'll be right back. Alright, it is done. My differential is in. The LSD is now in the S13. I should be hopefully able to show y'all what a viscous LSD can do. Different than an open differential, different than a welded diff, kind of in the middle of both of those. But I can get a driving video soon. So I want to thank you for joining in to another episode of The Shop. If you like this content, please let me know. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you don't like it by disliking it, but commenting, let me know. Just a simple dislike doesn't really help me improve this content whatsoever. Visit the Teespring store that's on the Instagram. It's down below in the description. And then, I've said a million times already, we have a giveaway for 200 subscribers. It's a $50 Amazon gift card. Don't miss your chance to enter. There will be a 300 subscriber giveaway, but then you have to compete against 299 other people. So right now, one single person, you will be going against 199 people instead of 299 people or 399 people, depending on which giveaway you end up getting into. So stay tuned for more projects. As you see, we have many more things sitting here in the shop that are getting done. It takes time, money, and effort. Some of those things I have, and some of those things I lack at the moment. So thank you again for joining in, and until next time.